I think our first caller up here today is going to be Paul here in Orlando with a 2015 Subaru Forester. Paul, tell us what's going on with this thing.
All right. Afternoon, Larry. This is Paul. Talked to you a couple times. I've got three areas of questions. First of all, it makes a noise from the rear of the car since we got the car on occasion, and you can hear it when it's real quiet, and then I can recycle the key and the noise goes away. I think it's the evap system or solenoid system doing funny things. Then I got an acceleration problem where you step on the gas, it may not go. But before I go and change the accelerator and the throttle body, this only seems to happen when you're like stopped and you're making a turn. When you're making a turn in either direction, it'll hesitate, like you're pulling out of a driveway from a gas station and you make a right-hand turn or left, to get back into traffic. You got the wheel turn, you step on the gas, it doesn't go. Doesn't seem to happen in a straight line, to the best of my knowledge. And the third problem is my AC. I had a leak a couple years ago, put dye in the system, traced it down to the O-rings where the high and low pipes go into the TVX. Those O-rings were leaking, so I replaced those O-rings. Everything's good for about a year, and then it was low on Freon a month ago, say. Put a little in, and everything seemed to be okay. I've been watching it. Go down to Fort Lauderdale for a cruise. Everything's good. Comes back, and the car sits in the garage for a week because the wife didn't go anywhere. And we get in the car to go out to dinner that Saturday night, and there's zero AC. The compressor's not turning. So the next day I throw my gauges on it, and nothing moved. I mean, I thought the gauges were broke. Nothing moved. So I depressed the Schrader valve. Nothing came out. Absolutely nothing. So instead of putting Freon in, I pulled it down with a vacuum, and it seemed to hold it, but didn't hold it really that well at 30 inches. Held it pretty good at 15. So I said, okay, I'm going to put one can of Freon in with some dye and watch it for a week, and this should be pouring out somewhere. Well, it didn't, and this has been about 3 weeks now, and it's still got the Freon in there, but I still see some seepage, and I've gone around this car like every other day for 3 weeks, with the IR flashlight, and I only see a little bit leaking. I keep cleaning the area up at that same area at the TVX. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is evacuating the system and putting in those O-rings again. And I just don't understand why I got zero. I'm not at all when I depress the Schrader. So I consider that really weird, like somebody evacuated the system sitting in my garage.
Like somebody stole your refrigerant.
That's about it. So, I mean, I expected the refrigerant to last for a day and dye to be everywhere. I also checked the water coming out of the evaporator on the garage floor several times, and I don't see any dye in the water. So the evaporator is probably okay. I'm probably going to end up in the same area if nothing else happens. So
yeah,
those are my 2 areas of questions.
Paul, this is one of those things where I can't see it. Unfortunately, that's one of the downsides of doing a radio show. I can't see what you're talking about there. But when you get a leak like that, and I understand what you're saying. Everything was working, and then all of a sudden your refrigerant's gone. After a couple of weeks, now you put refrigerant back in it, and it's still got refrigerant there. There is a few things that can cause an AC leak like that. Most AC compressors have a pressure relief valve on them. For some reason or other, it could have maybe stuck and then resealed. I see stuff like that. That's pretty strange. Dye and an ultraviolet light is a great way to find a leak on an automotive air conditioning system. But I will tell you, I am a die-hard electronic leak guy myself. I love using electronic leak detectors. They just draw me to the leak, because they sit there and they make a repetitive beep, and I can zoom in on them pretty good. So that might be something you want to try just to get a little more comfort level that you're addressing the right place. Now, as far as this hesitation goes, Paul, I'm going to tell you, if you get the hesitation when you're making a left or a right-hand turn, if it's doing it while the vehicle is in motion and not just starting off from a turn, to a turn, you might have a baffle inside the gas tank that's loose and actually pulling the actual fuel pump out of the gas when it's lower on fuel. I'm going to tell you what I would do. Before I replace the electronic throttle body, I would put a fuel pressure gauge on this thing, a long one, tape it to my windshield, and go out here in the middle of a parking lot and start doing donuts and see if I get a fluctuation in my fuel pressure. Thanks for being our first call today. You have a great weekend, Paul.